glad and very proud to have the governor here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Thanks, Senator. Thank you, Teresa, for putting a human face on today's discussion. First, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here. I want to thank the remarkable group of leaders assembled behind me for making today's ribbon cutting possible. As Senator Newman pointed out, this has been a 6-year journey to locate anew at this site some 48 different CBOs, all coordinating in a collaborative fashion, the likes of which you rarely see as it relates to homeless delivery in this state, and for that matter, even across this nation. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your incredible support of Care Court, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. Chief, thank you for your leadership, but also your stewardship, for your faith and devotion to the cause that unites us here as well, and changing the conversation, changing the paradigm of engagement. That's what community policing is all about. That's what community building is all about. That's what public safety is all about, and I'm very grateful for your leadership. To Senator Umberg, we'll talk more about in a moment, and as truly, as Josh said, a champion of Care Court. It was the principal sponsor of that legislation and what it holds as a promise moving forward. And of course, Assemblywoman Sharon Quicksilver, who we just did another event, who consistently is delivering for the region. I couldn't be more honored to be here with you today. Look, Teresa made a comment about continuing to do what you've done, and that's unacceptable. And I think let's level set. What's happening as it relates to homelessness in the state of California is unacceptable. What's happening on the streets and sidewalks is unacceptable. What's persisted in this state for decades is unacceptable. And so one has to acknowledge that. One has to take responsibility and take ownership of that. I'm not here to cast aspersions. I'm not here to wax on about the good old days. I'm not here with the closed fist either to lay blame at the feet of others. We need to own this issue. And I want folks to know we do. And I say we because the state of California in the past was nowhere to be found on the issue of homelessness. Nowhere. I don't think I know this. I know this as a former county mayor. Just a number of years ago, I never looked to Governor Schwarzenegger or Davis on the issue of homelessness. There was no homeless strategy. There was no homeless plan. In fact, when I got here a few years ago, because of the leadership of a number of people behind me, we had the first allocation from the state of California, some $500 million, which at the time was extraordinary. The big 13 mayors demanded that Governor Brown do something as it relates to the homeless issue. And we just threw that money out near the end of the session. There was no accountability, there was no strategies, there was no responsibility in terms of the application implementation around those dollars. Today, from no plans, no strategies, 3.5 years later, we just approved a budget together, $15.3 billion in multi-year investments to address multitude of issues that led us to where we are today. We mean business, and I want folks to know you can't turn this overnight. You can't turn around decades of neglect overnight. One often overstates what we can accomplish in a year or two, but we also tend to understate what we can accomplish in 5 and 10 years, and I won't do that. I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic about what this state has done over the last number of years to seed real reforms and real strategies, and to support novel programs like this that are all about data, all about outcomes, creating platforms literally and figuratively of engagement, breaking down silos, which are incredibly vexing and frustrating, creating partnerships, not just public-private partnerships, but perhaps more powerfully, public-public partnerships. 11 cities working with each other, cities working with the county, nonprofits working together with law enforcement, people taking responsibility and taking it upon themselves to recognize that we all have component parts of the solution, but unless we deal with the comprehensive needs of individuals like Teresa, we're never going to fundamentally solve this problem. George brought up a number of remarkable programs, and the idea that he connected those dots is the idea we want to bring to this conversation today. And I'll be very brief, and I know you have a lot on your mind in terms of questions. The investments this state has made as it relates to the home key model, 12,500 units in the last 24 months of new permitted housing that have been directly funded and brought into escrow by the state. These are not those $500,000 units that take 6, 8, 10 years. The first round of Home Key, $846 million, we were able per unit to get the state contribution below $150,000 in that first round. 200 projects, Stanton's one of them, they brought 3 in to their credit. Helped Teresa. She may not be here had we not done that. Immediate relief, not 5, 10 years of discussion, conversation, NIMBYism, frustration, anger, taxpayers. I can't believe I'm wasting my money. How the hell will you elect that person again? Over and over, the rhetoric stale beyond words. 12,500 units. And we're just winding up. We put $5.8 billion into that program. Buy hotels and motels, start converting things in record time at record low costs. We're addressing the issue of time value of money in terms of driving land use reforms and dealing with regulatory issues. Because everybody wants to solve a problem, but no one wants that problem solved anywhere near them. This program is rather remarkable. What are we behind? There's a preschool right behind me. And an extraordinary program solving the most vexing issue of our time, homelessness, right next door, proving the paradigm. We can all live together and advance together and prosper together once we disabuse ourselves of the processes we've created and the problems we, as a result, have created. And so, look, I've been at this for years as a former mayor, former county supervisor. I've seen good programs. I've seen terrible programs. I've seen money wasted. I've seen, the same advocacy on all sides of this for years and years produce little in the way of results, just more rhetoric. But I'm starting to see something a little different as I travel the state. And the reason I came down here is I believe success leaves clues. There's a power of emulation. Senator Newman's been 2 years demanding I get down here. And we finally used this ribbon cutting as an excuse to come down. Because he's taking this program, which he's been able to draw down and patch together, and thank you, Supervisor Chafee and others, for organizing about $36 million of funding over these years for this program, and now they're taking it to a whole nother level. And they're taking it to the streets. I'm done with outreach that's nothing more than inreach, where you wait 9 to 5, and if someone shows up at 5:01, say, we're sorry, we're closed. We're talking about vans that go out proactively. We talk about multidisciplinary teams. We talk about reconciling the fact that a lot of the issues can easily be resolved if we can just walk through and process solutions like getting a driver's license. I mean, how many of you have a hard time going down the damn DMV? Can you imagine living on the sidewalks? And if you don't have an ID, you can't even begin the process of getting into a program. Starting to address those issues in a very deliberative and impactful way. And so this program works. Hope Center is a remarkable program. I'm honored to be here with all of you. And I just want you to know, because I know your frustration, that this state is entering a completely new era in terms of support and accountability. Final words. There's no state vision that's realized in Sacramento. State vision is realized at the local level. And so, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. As a former mayor, mayors get it. They're not ideological. They try to get things done. And so we have to be there for you and have your back, but we also have to express ourselves that we expect more in return. If we're going to provide unprecedented support, if we're going to address the issue CARE Court's going to address as it relates to people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, people self-medicating with drug or alcohol addictions, and we're going to create some opportunities to get law enforcement in a compassionate way, work with social workers and work with family members and community leaders to actually address those vexing issues. We want to see results. We want to see encampments clean up in this state. I put out $48 million yesterday in new encampment resolution grants to 7, 8 counties in this state. We want to see real results, and we want to see them right now. People are frustrated. They've had enough, too much rhetoric, too many of these press conferences, not enough results. And so that's the spirit that brings me down to one of the most bucolic and spectacular regions on planet Earth, Orange County. Eat your heart out, Texas. We got Orange County in every way, shape, or form. Eat your heart out, Texas. And so that's the spirit. And I'll just close because spirit seems the operative word with Teresa. You know, I think the Bible teaches us something else, not only in terms of the fellowship and devotion Teresa has placed in a higher authority, but the Bible teaches us we're many parts, but one body. And when one part suffers, we all suffer. A lot of people are suffering. We're all suffering. It's been a hard few years. All that stacking of stress, everything that could have, would have, should have happened, everybody looking backwards. We are where we are. And we're a remarkable state, a remarkable region, a remarkable moment in our history. And on these issues that bring us here today, I'm here firmly grounded in optimism and faith, but faith with the good work and works being done here and all across our state. The best, I assure you, is yet to come. Thank you guys very much for being out here, and we're now happy to take any questions.
Hi, my name is Tess Shees. I'm with OC Register. I was curious if somebody could speak a little bit to how the collaborative measures its impact and what type of data the Hope Center and the collaborative uses, what type of information they collect, how do they use that, and how does it further
I
its
love
goals?
it. And we're gonna get the director up here because I think what makes
got the chief
or the chief even better. What makes this so special is the independent assessment that is done in-house to validate what is being asserted here and the platform in terms of that data collection that is provided transparency in real time.